Education, Kathy Reece Foster. Kathy Reece Foster is a geologist and Clemson Extension agent for Carolina Clear. As a coordinator of the Upstate Master Naturalist Program and community educator, she advocates for the protection of South Carolina's water quality and land resources. Examples of her leadership include working with a local school to construct a rain garden and the creation of Lake Jocassie's volunteer, improve, protect, sweep events, which bring diverse groups together to pick up litter along the Jocassie shoreline and to learn about the lake's clear, clean water. Kathy is a board member of several environmental groups and maintains active relationships with municipal, civic, youth, and school groups. Her work is a model for leadership and cooperation in conservation. Government. Hollywood Town Council. On November 18, 2013, the Hollywood Town Council took a stand for conservation by unanimously voting no to high-density development. The proposed development agreement would have legally permitted 5,000 houses to be built on 750 acres of land adjacent to 13,000 acres of conservation easements within the Ashley River Plantation District. The development could have potentially doubled Hollywood's population and stressed local ecosystems. This decision is a victory for both conservation and the preservation of rural communities. Legislative. Katrina Schiele. In her first year in office, Senator Katrina Schiele has made significant strides for conservation. She was the only legislator to protest the removal of the Lexington chapter of the South Carolina Wildlife Federation from their facilities. She also volunteered to co-chair the Green Schools Caucus, which promotes sustainable schools, healthier children, better education, and stronger communities. In 2013, she sponsored 2 Green Apple Day of Service projects, where kids learned principles of sustainability in a fun, educational environment. Her bravery and dedication are credits to her character and assets for building sustainable communities. Outdoor Ethics. Ryan Nevius. Executive Director of Sustainable Midlands, Ryan Nevius has been a staunch advocate of local watershed protection, clean air, and buying local food. By partnering her organization with local businesses, government officials, schools, and congregations of churches, she has shown how problems can be solved through education and cooperation. The Rocky Branch Watershed Alliance, Midlands Green Congregations, Tasty Tomato Festival, Sustainable Holiday Market, and Sustainable Schools are just a few initiatives that have flourished under her leadership. Ryan Nevius is a powerful voice in the Midlands for local ecosystems and healthy communities. Water. John Lane. John Lane, Professor of English and Environmental Studies at Wofford College, integrates humanities and science to advocate for sustainable practices on local waterways. He is the author of 12 books and editor of 4 others. His leadership aided the development of The Nature and Culture of Water, a learning community for freshmen who have spread the message of Lane's work nationally and worldwide through workshops and advocacy. He is also co-founder of Upstate Forever, an organization dedicated to protecting and restoring Piedmont ecosystems. He is considered a premier nature writer of the South and a key force for conservation in South Carolina. Wildlife. Valerie Carter Stone. Since joining the South Carolina State Park Service in 2004, Valerie Carter Stone has instituted an original program to restore Schiele State Park's longleaf pine and its red-cockaded woodpecker population. The park now also strives to meet the biological needs of 3 additional indicator species: pine barrens tree frogs, southeastern fox squirrels, and northern bobwhite quail. Thanks to this initiative, the diversity and abundance of plants and wildlife has increased, boosting the number of park visitors. Today, as statewide resource management biologist,
Valerie's success at this park has garnered financial support for longleaf restoration projects at other parks in South Carolina. Her pioneering vision and hands-on management style exceeds her job duties and has set a precedent for the agency. Youth. Jared Woodard. For his Eagle Scout rank, Jared Woodard led his troop in designing, constructing, and installing 3 4-chambered bat houses at Sesquicentennial State Park. Bats roosting in many areas of the park are threatened by habitat loss and visitor traffic. Park staff were in the process of looking for solutions when Jared contacted them about his ideas. During this project, Jared sought information from biologists, gathered materials, and educated other Boy Scout groups about bat conservation. He has also volunteered to lead educational programs about bats for the public at the park. His far-reaching efforts are a model for all conservationists.
Habitat. Todd Beasley. A teacher at Heathwood Hall Episcopal School in Columbia, Todd Beasley led the creation of the Gardening Project. All gardens are planted and maintained by students and are part of the Campus Nature Trail, which is intended to reduce the school's overall lawn cover by creating sustainable land use areas. Each garden represents a type of habitat designed to increase eco-literacy and teach the importance of environmental stewardship. Project Learning Tree and the Junior Master Gardener program give students the knowledge and skills needed to plant and maintain all gardens. Todd Beasley's efforts have brightened the future of conservation by providing students with the knowledge, behaviors, skills, and attitudes necessary to begin making environmentally sustainable decisions. Journalism. Jim Hammond. Over the past 20 years, Jim Hammond has worked as a correspondent and journalist for a variety of South Carolina newspapers, including The State and the Greenville News. Currently, he is an editor of the Columbia Regional Business Report, where he has written editorials on a number of issues including clean energy. His pieces on South Carolina's need for clean energy standards and tools consumers can use to influence the decisions of utility companies have strengthened the conservation movement in South Carolina. Rebecca Kane is a graduate student at USC in the Department of Biological Sciences. Her research focuses on game management practices for white-tailed deer. When she's not in class, she works as an instructional assistant where she teaches Introduction to the Environment lab classes. Rebecca has been involved in various teaching programs since high school, including volunteer work teaching elementary students about the environment. When she graduates, she plans to pursue a PhD and teach college-level courses in wildlife management. She also wants to be involved in outreach programs targeting high school students who aspire for careers in wildlife management. Janae Davis is a graduate student at University of South Carolina in the Department of Geography. Her research focuses on conservation justice and diversity in conservation. At the South Carolina Wildlife Federation, she is an events assistant. She also works as a research assistant at USC, where she is involved in research on drought impacts and citizen science. Janae graduated from the Master Naturalist program in 2012 and is co-founder and chair of the Midlands Master Naturalist Association. Upon graduation, she plans to seek a PhD and ultimately aspires to help environmental organizations promote eco-literacy, reach more minorities, and find ways to safeguard human rights as they work to protect the environment. Elena Wines is a student at Winthrop University, majoring in environmental science, conservation biology, and psychology. She has held various positions related to environmental science at Winthrop, including teaching assistant and research assistant. She has also maintained the experimental greenhouse, worked to improve campus recycling, and volunteered for the Rock Hill Community Garden Project and campus trash audit. She is a member of the Campus Environmental Coalition Organization and Psi Chi Honors Society. After graduation, Elena plans to enroll in a graduate degree program and work with an environmental agency to aid the conservation of natural and societal communities threatened by development. F. Bartow Culp Award, Austin Jenkins. F. Bartow Culp was a distinguished longtime leader of the South Carolina Wildlife Federation. It is in his honor that the F. Bartow Culp Award was established to recognize distinguished service within our own ranks. Dr. Austin Jenkins is a native of Camden and teaches natural history and environmental biology at the University of South Carolina, Sumter campus. Austin joined the South Carolina Wildlife Federation Board in 2009 and has since helped SCWF to become a host site for the very popular South Carolina Master Naturalist program. He has taught 3 Midlands Master Naturalist courses for SCWF and will be starting the 4th one next month. The great success of these classes led to the creation of SCWF's Palmetto Pro Birder program, using a model for partnership between SCWF and expert instructors very similar to that which Austin created for our Master Naturalist program. In addition to his leadership on these education programs, Austin also serves on the executive committee as vice chairman of the board. For his sustained efforts to encourage program and policy evaluation and strategic forward thinking about the future of SCWF, we are proud to present Austin Jenkins with this year's F. Bartow Culp Award. Conservationist of the Year, Bob Perry. Biologist Bob Perry has worked for the South Carolina Department of Natural Resources for almost 36 years. During much of this time, Bob had responsibility for maintaining and managing coastal wetlands for wintering and migrating waterfowl and other wetland-dependent wildlife. While living on the coast, Bob also served as the coordinator for the Winyah Bay Focus Area Project, a partnership landscape conservation initiative identifying and protecting over 150,000 acres of critical habitats. Presently, Bob is the director of the Office of Environmental Programs of DNR. In this capacity, he provides oversight of the agency environmental review and comment on permit and license applications involving action by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission, U.S. Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, and South Carolina Department of Health and Environmental Control. As one shining example of his stewardship skills, for the last several years, Mr. Perry has worked tirelessly with agency staff, Remarco Minerals, and others to develop a mitigation plan to reduce environmental damage from the proposed reopening of Hale Gold Mine. If the project is built, this plan will provide permanent protection for the Cooks Mountain and Goodwill Plantation tracts, featuring some of the most significant wetland properties in South Carolina. His dedication and pioneering efforts have helped create a model for landscape-scale mitigation for large impact projects that will inspire natural resources managers nationwide. Lifetime Achievement, John Burbage. Reporter, columnist, publisher, editor, and consultant of Evening Post books, John Burbage has spent a lifetime working for conservation. In his 44-year career, he has worked for several prominent South Carolina newspapers, reporting on a wide range of topics, including conservation issues in South Carolina. His editorials were utilized by former Governor Carroll Campbell to promote the passing of legislation protecting the water quality of the Edisto River. This monumental event directly ties Burbage's work to the establishment of the Ace Basin program. His recent work includes researching carbon credits programs and registering 18,000 acres of EPPC woodlands. He is also developing a company-wide energy-saving program at Evening Post Ventures, LLC. John's work exemplifies the tenacity, creativity, courage, and impact all conservationists aspire to achieve. Lifetime Achievement, Malcolm Leapart. Malcolm Leapart has spent 30 years representing Trout Unlimited in an untold number of conservation projects. He has spearheaded numerous studies and written articles to promote the health of South Carolina's coldwater fisheries. Leapart is co-founder and former president of the Schiele chapter of Trout Unlimited. He has also served several terms as chair of the South Carolina Trout Unlimited Council and was a member of the Trout Unlimited National Board. Leapart has represented Trout Unlimited on a wide range of conservation groups and projects such as Saluda River Task Force, Saluda River Advisory Committee, the Governor's Freshwater Wetlands Forum, and the FERC relicensing of the Lake Murray hydroelectric plant on the Saluda River. Through science-based advocacy, Malcolm Leapart has been a force of change in coldwater fisheries conservation.